as the cost of living rises for Canadian couples, financial compatibility is more than just a green flag. It's a necessity.
Yeah, but a new TD survey found that most couples avoid the money talk until it's too late. Joining us now this morning is Nicole Ewing, Principal Wealth Planning Office at TD Bank. Nicole, appreciate your time this morning. Interesting here about couples, and there's people are either uncomfortable talking about money or nervous. They don't want to maybe admit how much they make or what their debts are. When is the right time then, Nicole, to talk about money with a partner who you want to spend a lot of time with?
There's certainly not a wrong time to be talking about it, but we are recommending the earlier the better, making sure that you're on the same page as quickly as possible. And if you're not, having the opportunity to think that through, talk it through, see where the gaps are. And it could be a matter of financial literacy. One person knows something the other doesn't. It could be, cultural and family values. You've been raised with different ideas about money, but talking about it, having those open conversations is really important.
Yeah, that transparency, I think we can all agree, is important. However, one thing I found interesting about this TD survey is that Gen Zs were more likely to talk about these kind of money issues than the younger generation, which is kind of, I think, against my logic. I would think, back in the day, they say you don't talk about money, religion, or politics at the dinner table. Mm-hmm. So to see that trend, it's kind of interesting.
I think it's a really interesting trend where we have, generally speaking, 41% of people waited to have that conversation before moving in together. Only 23% had that conversation before they started cohabitating together. But we're seeing Gen Z, 41% wanted to have that money talk conversation in the first few months together versus only 25% of the broader population. So I think there is a trend towards this is critical information to have about the other person, and the earlier that you can have those conversations, the better. Perhaps Gen Z has seen the drawbacks of not having that conversation in the previous generations.
Yeah, but then there's that fear if you admit to somebody either the level of debt you're in or the sort of, financial straits you may be in, that can be a relationship kind of blocker, or, it's not going to go forward from there. So, Nicole, how do you advise people about going about that conversation and being frank and honest about their financial positions?
If this is something that's challenging for you to navigate on your own, certainly working with professionals, personal bankers, financial advisors who are able to help you navigate that conversation. And they have the tools to be able to do this. So things like a goal builder tool that allows you to put all of your information into this and show possible future states. So what are your goals? What are you trying to achieve together as a couple? And then let's map that out. Let's see how close or far away we are from doing that and what behavioral changes need to happen between there. This can be uncomfortable for people. We can be embarrassed about maybe some poor decisions that we've made in the past, but putting this off until sometime in the future where the consequences are much more significant. It may mean you're not able to buy that home together, maybe not able to take those vacations or raise your children in the way that you intended. Getting on that same page and then having access to the tools and information you need to together build a plan together, build that financial plan. Again, we're seeing the significant number of people, most people recognize the importance of building that plan together and see that doing it together is better than doing it on your own and hoping for the best.
Yeah, and Nicole, it's also an important lesson in safety. I mean, these days, with everyone kind of struggling financially, there has been an increase in these romance scams. We spoke with a woman who, wasn't quite clear about the financial status of the partner that she was with, and he ended up, scamming her of her belongings and her money. So this is also kind of, raising the flag there.
Oh, absolutely. Those are heartbreaking circumstances, and we know that people do find themselves in these situations, and so having that plan in place locks you into behaviors that are consistent. And so when things start being a little bit inconsistent, then you can see that, maybe there's something off here. So having that plan that X amount of dollars is going to go into my TFSA or my RRSP or my other emergency savings accounts on a regular basis, having that money invested in a way that makes sense for you, that's part of your overall plan, that pulling that money out willy-nilly is really going to be putting you offside. And having that structure in place allows you to be a little bit more resilient from some of those emotional decisions that you might make. By having it invested, seeing it as part of an overall plan for yourself, it allows you to be a little bit protected from those who might want to take advantage from you. And again, working with people who have your best interests at heart, who understand the overall landscape and can help you navigate through some of these things. There's tools that you can build in place, for example, on your accounts when you're setting them up, a trusted contact person, so that if things start looking a little bit strange or some of those behaviors are different than what might be expected. We see this with our elderly population. Sometimes they can be vulnerable to these sorts of financial crimes as well. This allows you to have that, where we're building the infrastructure in place to ensure that we're as resilient as possible, not only from those who might have maybe not have the best intentions, but also from anything that might be happening in terms of the greater world at large that might be impacting our finances overall.
Okay, that is our time. Nicole Ewing, Principal Wealth Planning Office at TD Bank. Really appreciate your time this morning. Thank you.